We were pinned down, buttoned down in these tanks. The first Valor on Chateaubourg and Chateau Saline. And we had a hell of a battle there. And we took those cities. We took those 3 cities the first day. And we unbuttoned, came out, and they almost fell off their feet to see that we were black.
Through November, the 761st battles its way through Jussey, Mauvais-le-Vic, and Goubling.
This unit had an exceptional record in combat.
December 1944, the Battle of the Bulge. At Bastogne, surrounded by Germans, the 101st Airborne fights for survival. To relieve the 101st, Patton rushes elements of his 3rd Army north. Serving in support, the 761st blasts its way from the Sarre River on December 24th, north to Neufchâteau, Belgium, where they arrive on the 30th.
We were truly nervous in Bastogne because behind every tree there was a dead soldier. Enemy or yours?
There were groups of American GIs massacred by the Camp Group Piper. 11 black soldiers from the 333rd Field Artillery Battalion. When the bodies were recovered and it was discovered that they had been mutilated, they had bashed some of their skulls in with rifle butts, gouged their eyes out with bayonets.
We never fought as one unit together. They just split us all over the place. And I think that even confused the Germans, because I guess when everywhere they looked, they saw black tankers. I guess they thought it was a whole bunch of us, but only was about 700 of us, see? But they didn't know that.
We had the speed and the 360-degree traversing of the turrets, which the German tanks, they had to turn the whole tank to operate or fire on you. We could be traveling across 30, 35 miles an hour, and that turret was revolving 360 degrees where you just keep firing as you go. And that's just how we were able to either outflank them or get into a whole defilade position and knock them out.
After the Battle of the Bulge, units of the 761st go on to fight in Belgium at Bonneroux, Raisogne, Tillet, and Pirompi. In Luxembourg, at Steinbach. In Highland at Jabek, End, and Erling. On March 3rd, the 761st Tank Battalion enters Germany.
They reconstituted a task force and called it Task Force Rhine, and we tankers were given command of the operation. This was the outstanding and one total operation involving all of the battalion, and we broke a hole through the Maginot Line, through the Siegfried Line, into the Rhine Plain. An entire armored division of the 7th Army poured through that hole and went all the way to the Rhine with no opposition whatsoever. My men were magnificent.
The 761st captures 3,000 enemy troops and expends 50 tons of ammunition during Task Force Rhine operations. Attached again to 3rd Army, the 761st spearheads Patton's drive through Germany to Austria.
What used to surprise me, I wondered, why did we pass all of these tanks full over to the side, a division, and here come the 761st, beat up, tired tank battalion to go in and lead the way.
On their journey through Germany, the 761st witnessed the horrors of war.
761st was assigned to the 71st Infantry Division at the time that this division liberated a camp near Wels, Austria. The name of the camp was Gunskirchenlager, and it was one of the smaller refugee camps or concentration camps.
The 761st meets the Soviet Union's first Ukrainian front on May 6th at the Inns River.
Now, my husband has had lots of troops since then, but whenever he talks of soldiers, whenever he talks of fine soldiers, of good soldiers, he talks about his soldiers, who are the men of the 761st.
We had a chance to prove that the black man could be a good warrior.
Well, the impact of awarding me the Medal of Honor in to my thinking is that somebody wants to salve their conscience.
It should have been done at the time that these awards were made, the Distinguished Service Cross, at the time the men did these heroic acts. But it was a time of complication, it was a time of trouble between the races. We were a very different society in that time.
For more than 50 years following World War II, no African Americans are awarded the Medal of Honor for actions performed during the war.
The Medal of Honor is very specific. You don't have to just be brave. You got to do it above and beyond the call of duty.
All hell broke loose. We were just trying to keep them from coming down here further. And that's where we had a young lieutenant by the name of John Fox, who was up on San Catalina. He was our forward observer, and he asked for fire, our own fire, on him to stop the Germans that were coming down.
Well, it ought to make the country look a little more closely at what was done by the black soldiers, what was done to the black soldiers. It ought to shed some light in a dark corner of our closet.
Sergeant Reuben Rivers, he was the point man for Company A. He led the way coming into Dublin. His tank hit a landmine and it split his leg from his knee cap all the way up his leg. The medics, they said, man, this is $1 million wound. So that meant you can go back home. You're out of the war, it's over for you. And he said, no. He said, they need me here. And the next day, when we had to move out, and Captain William, he gave us an order, said, be careful when you go over this hill. And as we were doing this, my tank commander, Westerson, they told him, back out, Rivers, back out, back out, back out. Tigers are down there, don't you see them? He said, yes, I see them, but I'm going to engage them. And he did. By that time, a big white flash hit up by the tank commander's side, and he got killed.
It's very important that it be done now while their comrades, the guys who fought alongside them in World War II, are still alive, because the honor and the glory of it reflects on all of them.
The Company C was given the mission to break through the German lines to get to an objective called Castle Amalfi. We broke through, and when we broke through, they didn't, the Germans did not know we were there. During the action of breaking through the lines, we neutralized 3 machine gun nests, a couple of dugouts. We cut numerous communication lines.
In May 1996, the Pentagon forged the names of 7 soldiers to the White House, recommending them for the Medal of Honor for their heroic actions in World War II.
There were 1,200,000 black Americans in uniform in World War II, and this is an important symbolic act. But I don't think there's any way in this day and time that you can adequately recognize all that they contributed and all that was denied them in terms of medals and honors and promotions. These sort of things, there's no way that you can balance the books entirely at this remove. We're half a century down the road. All you can do is this symbolic act and give to them some glory, some honor. They earned that, and it's long overdue.
If you serve your country, you deserve to be served.
It really makes me feel sad that we did our job, fought, but we weren't appreciated.
The African-American veterans of World War II served a nation that was not yet ready to serve them. With their double V symbol, they fought against both fascism and racism. They were determined to prove to their fellow Americans that they were their equals on the battlefield and were entitled to be their equals at home. We should all be proud of the sacrifices they made on the snow-covered fields of Belgium, in the skies over Europe, and on the bloody beaches of Iwo Jima. They wrote a noble chapter in American military history. Their legacy made my rise in the military possible. I stood on their shoulders. They made America a better place for all of us. They asked for no special recognition. They asked for no tribute. They just wanted to fight for their beloved country, and they did. We owe them our thanks. We must continue to carry on their legacy of commitment and courage.